Hey y'all, welcome back to the Becoming You Through Him series. I'm your host, Aaliyah J. Thomas. I hope you guys have enjoyed this series thus far. This will be our last episode, the aftermath. Okay, if you missed the previous episode, we talked all about desires and how we tend to forget them if we are in a place of unsafe. If this is your first time seeing me on your screen, then you need to go to the very beginning of the series and watch episode 1, The Call. Today's episode is going to be all about the aftermath and is the life you live after the becoming. Okay, let's jump right on into today's episode. This is where I am currently, and honestly, on most days, it feels like I am in a lull. It's a temporary interval of quiet or lack of activity. And I mentioned in a couple episodes that I have always been in a state of motion, right? Always moving, always having to do something or be something to somebody, right? Now that I'm in this in my after my becoming, I am, right? I'm also noticing that we are always going to be in a season of becoming something or whatever the case may be. But when I say in my becoming, I'm saying, accepting my God's calling over my life and understanding my own identity within Christ. Okay. But again, this me experiencing my becoming through Christ has also allowed me to understand that we are always going to be becoming something, right? We should always want to be like Christ. So all of our actions should lean towards that, right? I'm currently reading A Woman After God's Heart, right? That so far has been a very interesting read, to say the least, because I am a woman after God's heart, right? I am anchoring my life where God has positioned it to be, right? So, when I say, the aftermath, where you're living your life after the becoming, this is where I am, right? And it feels like a lull because there's quiet, right? Like there's quiet. I'm not, in a state of being like doing things. There's no motion, right? I'm motionless. And before, I would say maybe up to 2 or 3 years now, I have been trying to shift into being okay with the emptiness that comes with being emotionless, right? Not necessarily have to do anything or be anything for anyone, right? Really being able to really sit in and understand that I've worked very hard to get to this place. I'm not waiting for the next shoe to drop. I'm not, re-engaging in toxic or, self-sabotaging behaviors. I am here, I am present, and I'm waiting and willing to serve, right? In whatever capacity that looks like. I used to try to force understanding when it came to things that didn't make sense, right? But now I'm in a season where I'm not forcing anything. I'm not searching for clarity. My discernment is so high, right? I think I mentioned to you guys how when I took the time to really sit and be with God very intentionally, one of my biggest things that I prayed for was discernment, right? Like my discernment is so high. So I'm not yearning for clarity. I'm not out there trying to force things. Things are coming to me naturally and organically. Because I'm in the becoming, this is the aftermath. Everything on this side of your becoming is going to be quiet, right? Like you're not going to be hurrying to do certain things, right? Like for example, things are happening on my time and not anyone else's, right? Of course, God's timing, but in the literal sense, like I don't feel the pressure to have to conform or to do anything if I don't want to. Okay, if I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it. When I want to do it, I will do it, right? There's no pressure, there's no burden, no heavy burden on me to do anything. For most of my life, this was suspicious, right? Again, like when you're in a state of things being quiet, you're waiting for that shoe to stop, you're waiting for the bad thing to happen. But there is no bad thing that is impending, right? And if something does happen, I have the tools, the necessary tools and structure to be able to either cope or process and navigate whatever life throws at me currently. With that being said, it's earned. Like I said, I've done so much in my life to be on this side, right? My becoming journey was not easy. There was a lot of times where I questioned my own identity in so many different ways, right? And if I detail all of my journey of my becoming in more depth in my book, Becoming You Through Him. So if you have not taken the time to get this book, go ahead and get the book now. One thing that I didn't expect after becoming was the unfamiliar peace that I would feel when you're in the hamster wheel of life and you're just go 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 go, right? I don't feel that. I don't have that urgency to want to go 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 go. Like, yeah, there may be some goals and aspirations that I have for my life, but there isn't no like big urgency or impending thing or deadline that I have to get done, right? Healing is always going to be it's going to be rises and falls. Nothing's ever linear when it comes to healing, right? So there are times where, my healing is flat. I'm regulated. Like there aren't any big highs or big lows like there once was before. I'm not unmotivated. I'm not stuck. I don't feel depressed. I may have my moments where um I guess you could say it's like I wouldn't even necessarily say it's a sadness. It's more so of a sense of like, okay, I'm just here. Let me just sit with the uncomfortability, right? Because it takes time. It takes time to, this is years of my life, like 25 plus years of my life where um, you know, these are things that are naturally innate, like are naturally within me. So trying to let go of some of those things will take time, right? So yeah, like there are days where I literally may have a few clients and then I don't really have anything else much to do rather than like be with my children. So I take majority of that time and really just sit with this is what my life is like, and I love every second of it. Like living in a life where you once prayed for is divine. Like it's 100% divine, and I don't take that for granted. Like boundaries, they're not even going to be like, they're not dramatic anymore. Like they're just going to be automatic. Like at either you're meeting this boundary or you're not meeting this boundary. It's something that is going to be automatic because now you're in a place where your life, the way that your life is now censored, like it demands it. Like there's no if, ands, or buts about it. It is demanded. It is a requirement. Okay. You're not going to chase what disrupts your spirit, right? If anything disrupts your spirit, it is a quick no, that gotta go. We're not doing that. We're not even going to entertain the thought of something disrupting our spirit. I'm learning to live here, be right here, and this is what kind of prompted me into even doing this series, because like I said, I took the time to write Becoming You Through Him and just like really pour into my story, like really pour into my story so that I can pour into yours. And I really hope that this series and Becoming You Through Him, my 40-day devotional, I really hope that it is able to answer someone else's prayer, right? And when I say like I'm living in a life that was a prayer that I prayed to God at one point, I would never forget, like I had this moment where I would like pray and I would like write in my journal to God when I was like, sheesh, 13, 14. like 13, 14. And I would like be in my closet and I'll be writing and crying, writing and crying, writing and crying. And I'll never forget, I actually ended up telling this story in my devotional. And I'll never forget that this like visiting pastor had came to my church, and he was like, yeah, you, like, he sought me out, and he was like, God has told me that you have been crying and writing in your journal, and you've been, and when I tell you, it was like, it probably wasn't the first time that God revealed himself to me, but it was one of those moments. And it was just like, wow, like God knows me. He knows my name. He knows my name, right? And yeah, like it was so surreal. So I say that to say this, like, I am living in the answer prayer, and I'm trying to, because I am here. I am really trying to just be in the space, like really be in the space, honor the space, honor God, and just honor my own grace, and give myself grace as I'm continuing to just be here. And just because like I'm not doing anything like specific or big, that doesn't mean that nothing is happening. There are things happening in more ways than one. And now is the season where I think Pastor Mike had mentioned something in a previous sermon, like towards the end of the year last year. And because I have so much, because I have been obedient, like now I'm in a season where I am expectant that God is going to do what he said he was going to do, right? I expect it now. I'm not gonna lie, there are moments where I feel the urge to disrupt what's good, just to feel something, like just to feel, that's still there. Oh, that's still there. It's still there. It's still lingering in the background. And that's just human. That's just a human trait, right? When it comes to like old patterns love chaos. They love chaos, right? And that's what I said. Like, just choosing, not to dwell in self-sabotaging behaviors, and um not every not every feeling needs a reaction. Like, not every feeling. I think I mentioned kind of similar to, like, not everything is, you don't owe everybody a response, but like in this sense, like, not every feeling needs a reaction. So if something is coming up for you, you need to really sit and ponder, and pray, and ask God, should you be acting on this? Hey, like, I think every morning I get up and I say, hey God, what is on my agenda for today? How should I be serving you today? If someone gives me information, I say, hey God, how am I supposed to respond to this? Help me respond to it in the way that you see fit. Simple as that. Help me respond to it in the way that you see fit, because I am here to serve. Yeah, okay. This is something that I'm choosing every single day. Like, every single day, I am choosing peace, right? Because it's important. Not every feeling needs a reaction from me. And sometimes that means just sitting in very uncomfortable emotions. Very uncomfortable emotions. Sometimes you just have to sit in it. And then when it gets too unbearable, I speak to my therapist about it. I have a conversation about it. I talk to my husband. I talk to my cousin. Any of my confidants, I talk to them and get it out. Just get it out. Because sometimes if stuff is just up here and is lingering, sometimes you need that sounding board. But very, very importantly, I go to God and I say, God, how do you want me to respond to this? Is this even something that deserves a response? Because it probably don't need a response. Okay? So this concludes the aftermath. This has been the Becoming You Through Him series. I cannot believe that we are here. It's not the end, it's just the beginning. And this is just a place where I am learning how to stay. I'm learning how to stay and be here. God's honest truth. My becoming wasn't even loud, it was quiet. It was something that allowed me to anchor myself in Christ, and allowed me to be steady in how I show up and how I love, how I learn. And that's one thing that I would truly cherish from saying yes to God's plan over my life. This series was about being able to witness your own becoming. You're not in the season to rush what's next. It is not the time for you to rush what is going to happen next. It is for you to be still. It is time for you to hone in on the person that you are desired to be. So I truly, truly appreciate you for walking with me on this journey and just being open to your own becoming through Christ. You don't have to hurry out of being still just to prove that you are healed. Again, thank you so much for being here. This concludes the Becoming You Through Him series. Love you guys so much. Jesus loves you. If you have been moved by this series, please go ahead and put in the comments. Make sure that you're following me on all social media platforms. On Instagram at the Redefinition Strategist, so that you can stay tuned and stay up to date for what is coming next. Until then, bye bye.